la, la. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Off the Couch Boxing. I am your host, Rex Ruger, along with the esteemed Alexis Arguello Puppet.
And I'm your other host, Frank Bengz, back with another episode.
Yeah. And hopefully boxing fans will appreciate this particular episode because this is somebody, man, that I got to know, and I'll go into that story more when he joins us here. But I have a history with this gentleman, and unfortunate circumstances derailed his career pretty much right when it was getting going. But I think boxing fans are going to love to see him and hear from him. He's here now. Let's stop fucking around and dispense of the formalities and get down to it and chop it up with him. He's the one we really need to hear from, right? My man. Hopefully you can figure this out, man. We were having technical difficulties last night, but I think we've got them all ironed out, God willing. And we'll get him in here, man. My brother. And I know, man, that as I said, man, I'm sure boxing fans are going to be absolutely ecstatic to see him. I don't know if he's in here yet, but of course, there's no crying in podcasting, folks. So we'll just sit here and be patient. And I don't know, what can we rant about in the meantime? At the time of this recording, and we're usually running a week behind here, it is November 5th.
There he is.
There he is. Where is my man? Where is my man?
Looks like he's got to enable his voice and video.
Yeah.
Probably a pop-up that asks you.
Yeah, there usually is. And I can just enable your microphone and camera.
There he goes.
There he is. We did it, my brother. Can you hear us and see us okay?
No, still no voice from him.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
No voice.
Yeah, he's got no microphone on yet.
Should be at the bottom of the screen, a little microphone next to a video camera.
Bottom of the screen, you should see a microphone.
Just click on that.
Okay, I seen it.
There we go. Now we're cooking.
Okay, but I can't see your faces, though. Am I supposed to see your faces?
Yes. Like right next to that phone button, there should be a camera button.
Well, his camera's on. His camera's on because I don't know why he can't see us.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he can't see.
Maybe it's just poor connection.
Yeah.
Could be just poor connection.
Yeah, it could just be a poor connection because we did test it out the other day and we were able to see you, but anyways, I think, man, boxing fans are going to be extremely happy to see your face because it is a face that we have not seen for a long time. Of course, the president himself, man, my brother, the great IKE IBEABUCHI, man. We're happy to have you here, man.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm sure, Ike, that first and foremost, because you were just kind of, just starting to elevate up in the heavyweight rankings, and then suddenly, through a lot of unfortunate circumstances, your career was halted at that point. Catch people up to speed a little bit on where you are now and what you've been through.
Well, I'm on immigration proceeding. They've got me removed from the United States wrongly, but I'm working on it to return because I've got some legal grounds that ought to be reviewed. For instance, I won my appeal in the probation violation that hindered my naturalization process. So I have reported that on my way back that I have got, an order of release by the Superior Court of Arizona, Maricopa County, and it should overcome the derogatory status the very derogatory status that hindered me the naturalization process for citizenship, of course. So
Right.
it's ongoing right now, and I believe that something is going to be done about it so that I can return to United States and resume my boxing career, which
Okay.
is the most important thing. Yeah, you know.
And I love the fact that here you sit, man, because I can relate to this too. I'm 50 years old as well. 50 years old, but when you say resume your boxing career, explain to people though, like why you think you could make a splash in this heavyweight division. Obviously, you are a guy that doesn't have a lot of mileage on you because your career was kind of just getting started.
It was. I never even reached my peak. In fact, Chris Bird's fight was, a peak to what would have been next if I had continued at that time. But unfortunately, I was usurped by the Nevada state, and all those were legal battles, and I finally secured an appeal. But to make a long story short, I'm still strong. I've been training since 2021 with the facilities gym here, and I feel so strong. I feel that, especially that fight that was had last week should have been a knockout. Somebody, we don't like those split decisions and all what you've got, in a match like such, it should have been a knockout, to take the matters out of the judge's hand and make it an easy fight, to determine who won the fight. I'm talking
Right.
about the Fury and Ngannou's fight. But I
Yeah.
believe that the boxer won. But anyway, like I said, the division is open, and something new happened also in the heavyweight division. I mean, in boxing. There are a lot of belts there, my friend. They've got super belts and the regular belts. It's easily grabbed. I want to be inducted as, one of the greatest boxer that ever lived.
Yeah.
And I don't think that the long hiatus, I don't think the hiatus would, hinder me from doing that. In fact, it's the only thing that I've got to live for now, to restore my name in the boxing legacy as one of the greatest. So age is not even a factor to me. I can do anything a 38-year-old man could do in boxing. I can do even better. So
I love that.
I was just watching Achimov, who began his career field at 50. So you can see that really, when you compare the way I feel, it's just another Achimov. And I'm gonna do good. I'm gonna secure my place in boxing history. You've got to defeat. I'm undefeated.
Well, yeah,
So
you
when
damn
you're
sure
dealing
are.
with when you're dealing with my mentality in boxing, it will take a wallop. It will take a knockout. It will take a defeat. To squelch my capacity to rise as I should have in the beginning.
Yeah.
Abate all those setback by the judicial system, which was eventually overcome.
And let me ask you though, to catch people up to speed who may not know, you and I, have a little bit of a past history because I was so fascinated, and this is how I came to correspond with you while you were incarcerated. I began writing you probably between the period of, from what I remember, 2003 to 2005, somewhere around there, and I was so fascinated because for people that don't know or haven't seen you fight, what you were able to do at the heavyweight level with the volume of punching, I mean, I had just never seen anything like it. I mean, and I think the pinnacle was that Tua fight. I mean, still a CompuBox record. I mean, 975 goddamn punches. I mean, unbelievable performance. And heavyweight guys, and you know this, they just don't do that. They just, there's a lot of hugging, there's a lot of clinching, there's a lot of laying on each other. We don't always see that kind of nonstop furious pace. We see it at the lower weights, but we don't always see it at the heavyweight division. I was fascinated by you and your fighting style, and that was why when I found out about your unfortunate circumstances, I did reach out to you and correspond with you. But if you could put your matchmaker hat on right now, and I don't know if you've been keeping an eye on the division or not, is there a guy out there that you think right now you would match up with or that you would like to fight?
like I said, with all due respect, I'm not a world champion. I'm not a champion. I was just an international WBC international champion. It's incomplete. It's so inchoate. I wanna complete my legacy. I want to be a world champion, notwithstanding the record, and being inducted in the Hall of Fame, IBO, International Boxing Hall of Fame. I'm not into you know um, you know who the person is. I don't care who the person is. I'm ready to fight whoever is holding the title. And I wanted to prove the world that nothing happened. It just a vacation, a long vacation. I understand. I can apologize 100 million times. It's just to my fans, but the thing is that I don't think that there's any fight out there that could withstand the very tenacity that I've got here to become a world champion. And again, like there's Usyk. I mean, Usyk is as much as my record. He's not 21 and 0, 21 and 0, and the of course the linear champion. Whether they're ranking it well now, what? But he's got many belts. And Tyson Fury, of course, of his last performance, he is top dog there. So both of them having the titles, would pose the very challenge as to who's got my laurels and whom should I fight. So I'm ready to do whatever it takes to prove myself. Someone was telling me about Shannon Briggs, and the repertoire with Shannon Briggs is not the same thing with David Toa, you know what I mean? But coming from the 90s, I'm ready to fight anybody that is presented or were presented before me to secure a title mandatory shot. I don't know what else to do. I've won my appeal. I had mandates from the Supreme Court, like I was discussing in my channel in YouTube. I won my Supreme Court cases both in Nevada and in Arizona. Nothing could hinder me. The competence, the intelligence, the capacity to handle the heavyweight title and represent the boxing community, the boxing world as I should, as a champion. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm. This is a new generation. This is a new time, and I'm taking it, philosophically, legally, and otherwise, scientifically. I'm all for it. Whatever it takes. Whether it is discipline, whether it is humility, whether I just don't want to be recognized as one of the boxing's great in the history of boxing, because I know these sports very well.
Yeah.
I'm an expert. So I'm talking from the heart, man, because you can't just take my thing away because I'm from Nigeria. But I've lived, most of my life in the United States, the world, a world power, if not the greatest in the whole world. So I have adjusted, I have customized, I've learned procedure, law, and I practice law. So at this time, I've got to be given a chance, man. I've got to be given a chance to show cause as to whether or not I came to United States to fight or to break the law. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
And so what is the recourse then? So like, where are you left standing at this point? Like you just mentioned the Fury Ngannou fight, just based on Ngannou getting that one fight, the WBC has already ranked him, which, you could say whether you like that or whether you don't like that after only one fight. But so how do you go about popping yourself back up onto the radar? Like, how do you get yourself ranked? How do you get yourself these fights? How are you going to go about this?
I didn't know that he was ranked. They said he's gonna be ranked, of course, but I looked at the level. I looked at the latest ranking. He was not on the top 10.
Oh, he's way down. He's way down there. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, he was in the top 10?
No. Ngannou, based on that fight, the WBC ranked him. But Benji's, what did they rank him? They ranked him
I don't know, like 564th out of 1,000 or something.
He's way down there. Yeah.
No, that should rank him. I mean, boxing, once, even if it's a pro debut, he should be ranked. But
Right.
the fact of the matter was that he gave Tyson Fury a heck of a fight.
Yeah.
So he should be, I mean, top 20, top 20 would be good, but I didn't see him on the top 10. So obviously, he didn't pull that Superman stuff, magic that I should have expected him. I wanted, if he wanted to prove himself, he should have knocked the champion out. If he were all of that, he should have knocked the champion to convince us that he was the real deal, the expected person. But obviously, the boxer won. But like I said, I'm ready to fight.
Fury's known to get knocked down.
Propel me to the mandatory challenger when these champions or title holders will not give me a shot since 1997. When I defeated the Victoria, you would have thought that Lennox Lewis would have said, "Hey, this guy can fight, let's give him a shot." Or Holyfield, IKE IBEABUCHI showed that, he can defeat the Victoria, who was ranked number 3 with the WBC. Obviously, he should be ranked number 2 or number 1, having all the necessaries about it. But they didn't. They put me as far back as 8 and 9 and 18. So with my issues, so obviously they didn't want me closer to a mandatory challenge, mandatory challenger sport or position. So it was hard again when I defeated Chris Bird, and I thought that, oh no, nothing was gonna stop me from being number 1 mandatory to fight the winner of Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield, and I'll be damned. I was ranked number 2 behind the Vitor. And the first thing before my arrest in Nevada could have been to give us a box off. Tua can always, attempt to, have a rematch with me, because everybody will want to see us in a rematch. You know what I mean? Yeah. Hey, there's power outage in Nigeria. I don't know if you knew that. This thing is getting off.
I was wondering where the lights were going, Ike.
We had no power in Abuja. It was a miracle that the thing came back about 2 hours ago, and I was lucky. I was happy, and all of a sudden, it's giving us, it's giving us a dim of eye. I don't know how to do this now. Let me see if I can get a light outside. But that's what happened,
Well, and so at the time of your career getting halted, though, you're right about that. It did seem like you were poised for the big fights, Mike Tyson's, the Evander Holyfields, the Lennox Lewises, and then and by the way, I want to say before I remember or before I forget that we are having Chris Bird on tonight, and he did, and I just talked to him a little while ago and confirmed with him that he's coming on, and he did say to say hi to you. He said jokingly that he would like a rematch. He did say jokingly he'd like a rematch, but he was only kidding though.
I was swept by his performance, man. That Chris Bird is a tough guy. No matter what anybody says about Chris Bird, to me, is something different than a human being. I can't stop watching his fight with Vitaly Klitschko, nor even Holyfield. This guy, and again, he beat the Vitor. When you look at it, you wonder which one was tougher. Then when he cleared the grounds of these tough fights that I would have considered, if I had fought Holyfield, even when John Lewis fought Holyfield, it would have been a tough fight, Then Chris Bird came in 2001 or 2 and cleared that and became a world champion. So a 2-time world champion, man, he is actualized. His legacy is set.
And you'll be happy to know, though, but you'll be happy to know that he is 53 years old, and he told me today, and I'm sure he'll talk about it more on the show later, he is planning on making a comeback at 53 years old, but now he's more closer to a middleweight. He would be fighting at middleweight. He's really slimmed down a lot. He's barely recognizable from his former self.
Yeah, 53. I'm the only. Well, you can say that, but I'm in my 50s too. I'm not 53, but almost there. But the fact of the matter is that I still do the things that I do from the beginning. I still weigh heavy. I still weigh about 250 now. on the scale after training 255, 250. And, I know with sparring and boxing, I will shrink to like 240 or 235, the very optimum weight that I had when I fought the Vitor. So, it's good to that is, but boxing is so addictive. I'm sorry to say that, but it's what it is. If and again, is just for the minds of the experts there. If I had my way, I should be retired, but I'm not retired because when I look back, it's like it was incomplete. It was unfinished. So anyone who wants to come back to boxing should be allowed, especially when they can pass the medical test and especially in our own um, uh, batch, we ought to go to comprehensive tests and all whatnot. Nobody will see how I train every day and wouldn't allow me to fight. I have trained consistently every day since I arrived in Nigeria. So, um, I'm happy to be back. I'm happy that I can say I want to fight, and I need to prove it. I don't want you to, either cajole me or calumniate. Just I want the record to speak for itself. Come and see my training regimen and see if I'm supposed to fight again at this age. But like I said, I don't feel anything. I'm very strong, and I can take on anyone from top 10 in any ranking, any organization. I've seen WBC's or top 10. Hey, I could be in it. I could be in that top 10 at any time.
I believe you.
Well, listen, man. Most of the heavyweights now, the top contenders at heavyweight are of advanced age, 35 plus, 40 years old.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we are seeing a lot of.
It's not like you would be fighting guys that would be a whole lot younger than you. You'd be fighting a 38-year-old.
Yeah, a lot of them are up there. Yeah.
Yes, I could. We weren't that much old when we were in the 90s. When we were coming up, we were in our 20s. I was actually 26. Call it when I was arrested. So I never hit the 30. I was imprisoned at the age of my 30s. So I was gone at a time that these guys are fighting, even and making money. When you look at Holyfield and Tyson, I believe Holyfield was in his 30s when he fought Tyson in '96. So when you look at Lewis, he was in his 30s and in 2000. So he's not. They were much older and advanced in as much as they were Olympians, but still, you can tell that they were older than older than me in the sense as to when I was 30s and I was in prison. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to say that my age, um, my aging has not been identified to have such effect as you would have concluded. You said I will be fighting those who are in their 38s and in their 30s. They are considered
you got
old.
frozen there.
But like I said, boxing is something that if it's anyone who can do it, it should be allowed to do. After Holyfield again fought till when he was 58. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, do you feel like, well, first of all, back when we were watching you fight, you, of course, were under the guidance of the late, great Curtis Cokes, who obviously passed away a couple of years ago. Are there any people, as far as like personnel around you, are you putting together a team? Is there anybody that you would like to work with as far as a trainer goes?
I missed my team. I got to, just to say that I was, it was heart wrenching, heartbreaking, heartfelt. My team was undisturbed, and I wish they were still there at this time. We would have continued our journey because nothing. They said if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I was doing well. We were doing great, and we didn't have, except that nobody wanted to fight me. Not Holyfield, not Tyson, and no Lennox Lewis. In fact, any challenge that I had was in 2005 when Tyson said in New Jersey that he would fight me. But where were I? I was in prison. You know, how could
Right.
you fight someone who's in prison? There was no fight in prison. Even the toy fight they had before was, you know, before my arrival to prison. I would have fought from prison because there's nothing else to do but do something. You know, fighting. If fighting was allowed in prison, I would have fought. So it's like everybody wanted my exit in the sense that they don't pose the competition. They don't have to face me in the ring. But you know, it's politics, and also you know you got to be wise. You know, I was taken advantage of. My friend, I'm recording. Okay, don't please.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree with you about politics getting in the way quite a bit. Yeah, I do believe that.
So politics played a whole lot of thing, and again, I lost the promoter, said the Krishna. So you know, a whole lot of losses. You know, I hadn't confirmed even my own parents too. So the thing is that you know, I'm shocked that things there's a definite a change in my life and my profession, and but for the judgment of the court that I had received, that had improved my texture, giving me a standing, I would have been, I don't know what would have been my life at this time, but I'm standing on law, because I had secured such level of competency and or jurisprudence that would had been considered, for before my journey down the tube below. But I came out. And I regret all the losses that I have encountered. So at this point, I just want to do something in my life. I wanted to put my sacrifice, give it my best shot, and secure the remaining part of my life or legacy that would at least be attached to me when I'm gone myself. So, I don't smoke, I don't drink, and no womanize. Everything now is clear as what they were before they were written as conditions of probation or conditions of sentencing. So it's a total correction, and I've learned, and I'll be so much redeemed and grateful.
You
if
deserve a
I
second
had
chance. You do.
yeah, second chance, you know what I mean? And again, second chance, I won my appeals. I showed the court that I was sane, and it all become a grounds. It became a grounds of reliance, to releasing me on such competence. So there's nothing I had to do now but to go back to the ring. I've been training. I don't have a team, and I've seen the elite trainers, but I hadn't made any contact that would warrant, to that would, be in a contact as to where the fight. I believe that if I had a fight now signed, like to fight Shannon Briggs, then I'll start assembling a team. I don't
Right.
have a team at this point in time. You know what I mean?
Right. So basically what you're saying is that you need me and Benji's over here to be part of the team. Ike, we're in, man. We're in.
I gotta ask you seriously, because you were talking about a lot about your legacy and wanting to go down as one of the greatest of all time. And we asked a lot of people on this show, if you had to say it right now, pick somebody, because obviously you seem like a boxing mind. You watch a lot of boxing. You know boxing. Who's your GOAT?
Who's my GOAT?
Yeah.
Who's your greatest?
I normally wouldn't answer that because
We get Floyd the most.
Yeah, we do hear Floyd a lot.
No, Floyd is not a heavyweight. I don't believe any weight should be compared. Can Floyd fight me? Can he step in the ring with me?
Jesus Christ, I hope not.
So he's not the GOAT, you know what I mean? He could be a GOAT in his weight divisions,
right?
But he's not GOAT in the heavyweight divisions. So
right.
I don't appreciate, comparing to a lesser weight I want to stay heavyweight, and that is the bottom line, because that's it causes a lot of confusion. He might have been successful, no doubt. All credit to him, undefeated, 50. I don't know. He's not Rocky Marciano. When we are talking about Rocky, a heavyweight, we talk about undefeated Rocky Marciano and lesser ones who were undefeated until their retirement. Not Floyd Mayweather. I'm not talking about Floyd Mayweather. Is a different class. He's not a heavyweight, and that's. I don't have.
Your greatest heavyweight is Rocky Marciano.
Rocky Marciano was excellent, as he remained undefeated, in his career, and until he passed. So he can be the GOAT to me.
Okay, fair enough.
So and Larry Holmes, who came closer to matching him, and were defeated by Michael Spink. So the thing is that when you talk about GOATs, it's about their performance. So I really don't say who the GOAT is. I'm only 20-0, and I believe that I have a bargaining power. I want to go there and fight. But when you talk about GOAT, I'm picking Rocky Marciano because he was undefeated at 49 fights.
Crazy.
And nothing is as smooth and excellent like that. You know what I mean?
Especially getting out of the heavyweight division undefeated, where there's a lot of big punchers. That's not an easy thing to do at all. So let me ask you this. What is your feeling when you see these events like we saw Fury and Ngannou the other night? These kind of hybrid matches, like where you see an MMA guy and a boxer. Do you like these kind of matches? Would anything like that interest you?
I'd have to finish boxing before going to wrestling or MMA. I don't care how much I'm paid, because I never would have thought that I could. People did that when they are on their down low, not on their top. What if the Ngannou had knocked him? But anyway, they were boxing. But my feeling is that if anyone wants to come to box, whether he was a wrestler or MMA, they are welcome to box alongside. But I'm not going to their side. I'm not going to their field. That's for now, but I don't know what might be tomorrow, or the conditions in which my mind might be changed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Are there any recent heavyweights? That are fighting right now that you've particularly been following their career? I mean, is there anybody that you have your eye on now whose work that you like?
Well, I wanted to fight Andy Ruiz but for the probation in 2016. Andy Ruiz was a good heavyweight, and he was undefeated at that time. Then when I was arrested for the alleged probation violation, he then lost to Joseph Parker, and then came back and defeated Joshua and became a world champion. So and nobody's wanting to fight him, like I said, these are good fights. When you look at WBC top 10, they're all solid fights, notwithstanding their lucrativeness. Those fights can be made, and I'm interested to join in that group of top 10 in the WBC. And if I will be reconciled to my event of being stripped in '97, I ought to have WBC issue me a mandatory a challenger on my performance. Even 1 or 2 fights, I should be allowed to fight for a world title. Let them sanction any fights from top 10 that would gear me towards mandatory contention.
I think once people must have saw that Tua fight, I imagine that probably had a lot to do with a lot of the other top heavyweights not wanting to fight you. And now, me and Benji's have watched that fight, of course. And I mean, just to break down and let people know, obviously you're returning to the ring and people might not know about what you did in the past. But let me just remind people in that fight, 1,730 combined punches. You threw 975 of them, which so you were averaging 81 punches around. Heavyweights just don't do that, man. I mean, it's pretty incredible, Benji's,
Yeah, and also on top of that, incredible beard, because Tua was throwing leather too.
Yeah, Tua was hitting you with shit too. So yeah, you certainly have the chin. I mean, obviously everybody knows Tua can punch.
I was hitting Tua with everything. I was hitting him hard. I mean, Tua can take a punch, no
Yeah.
doubt. But the thing is that I was not pussyfooting with my punches, but I would have been exact or precise, you know, down the line. Like if I had continued boxing after 99 and we were to had a rematch or something like that, I would have contested. I would have um, been the commanding, not the fine boxer puncher that I were in towards fight, but I would have actually, dished out clouds that would not been undermined, because I, I train very well and I know these things. But like I said, we trained with the towards pattern because I was just 16 fights and he was 27 and WBC international champion. There's no doubt you must find a way to defeat Tua, who was on his peak, to the championship. So I don't think that, it was a bad rap. I had to, adapt to a regimen that would overcome, his sluggishness. But he was a fast puncher too.
Yeah, he
But
was.
yeah. So I came out to, to out punch him and also dominating the punch start. I didn't give him a chance,
Right.
to rely to to push me around as he did, by other 27 fights he's had.
Well, and I think
You
people.
no no. Let me say something. Do you ultimately believe that had not what happened happened? Do you believe that a Lennox Lewis or a Holyfield showdown was like imminent? Like one of those two guys was definitely going to have to see you, right?
Yeah, why would Holyfield fight John Ruiz? I was in Don King's office twice in 1999 before my arrest, and nothing could happen. He presented a sheet of paper for signing, but there was no gratuity. You remember, I had a proposal in my other contract. I had a $1 million check signing bonus, and I had a $11 million 5 fights contract, five, not three. All these things they are saying they don't know. Munisteri, who was my manager at that time, now he's an advisor to the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott. He proposed that I had a receipt, a package at the time I was arrested. So like the Holyfield fight would have been a thing that I had proven by metal, of defeating the toughest and most elusive fighter in the world, and it didn't come because I believe Holyfield was WBA and IBF champion at the
Yeah.
time. He was unifying with Leonard Lewis, who was WBC. But the thing is that I was not ranked anywhere. Okay, I was ranked behind the Vitua, and there was no mentioning of fighting the Vitua. Rather, they wanted me to fight Grant. Michael Grant,
Yeah.
was not actually a champion, or I believe that, and I was ranked ahead of him after Bird. So, but the mentality I had at the time was the economical record setting to use boxing to match whether or not I could be one of the greatest in the world by
Right.
securing a title and becoming a world champion at the time that no one thought I would have. So my frame of mind was not really money. I had to bypass money to seek for a $10 million. I asked them, is that okay if I fought Lewis, as though I knew that Lewis was gonna defeat Holyfield at their rematch? I said to the HBO, Ludibella, and late said Kushner, if at our meeting, if in New York, if it's okay if I fought Leonard Lewis, they didn't say anything to me. But Kushner said, how much? I said, how much would I take? He asked, how much would I take to fight Leonard Lewis? I said, $10 million. and they kept quiet. They didn't say anything. In my bag, in my portfolio, I had already $11 million. So why can't that be transferred to one fight that I could wait or go back to the gym and train?
Right.
They didn't. They broke my heart. Okay,
Yeah.
they made me feel incompetent to be a world champion. If they had said, okay, well, let's consolidate all these fights, 5 fights for $11 million, and transfer that to a title fight, since you are already in pause with it, that would
Right.
have, I would have run back to the gym. I wouldn't have, it wouldn't have mattered to me. Definitely not Grant would have gotten Lennox Lewis the first.
Right.
I would have been the one fighting Lennox Lewis.
Right.
But the thing is that, when there was no answers from them, there was some mental breakdown, and I can't deny that, but it didn't cause me the act in Nevada, Las Vegas. What caused that was that it was a layover which turned to a stay in a hotel room, Mirage. So had the plane that was routed to Arizona proceeded, I wouldn't have been at layover in Nevada or Las Vegas, to which I were therefore compelled to get a room and remain there for 4 or 5 days. So, I don't want to blame anybody. It's been a long time. I
Right.
just wish to resuscitate my career as I can. I'm going to give it my best shot. It's not easy, but I love training, and I train every day. Like I said, I'm in good shape. My body tells me, yeah, I can take a punch now and I can give one. So, I just wish there's a promoter there who can, come out and see for himself whether or not, it's worth investing on. I'll fight anybody.
Right.
Even
I gotta say, if you pick up right where you left off, you're gonna be a problem.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah. Especially in this in this current heavyweight division, it really does seem like there are a lot of people there that are ripe for the picking. You know what I mean? There are a lot of guys, and that's not to say that you aren't great. You certainly are great, but the heavyweight division right now, in my mind anyway, is not the heavyweight division that it was back when you were competing. The pedigree of the guys, the toughness of the guys is just not the same. So you could realistically come back right now and very much, thrive in the heavyweight division. It's certainly very plausible.
It is. I believe in going back to the blackboard, drawing board. I mean, when you tell me that I'm not I'm not as young as I were, but the
Right.
only thing in boxing is remembering the fundamentals, remembering your sleeps, remembering your bobbing and weaving, your counters, the basics, the fundamentals. So it doesn't get tiring. It doesn't get tiresome. I am one who would go back to do the things that I did when I turned pro or when I started boxing. Those things would be there forever. So, I don't know their hearts. These guys you're talking about, because they might be boxing differently. When you watch them, but I can't see their heart, whether they have gotten a reserve, the very resilience, the very toughness that comes in the heat of the battle. I don't know, but it ought to be tested, and the only way you can test that is when you fight them. So when you fight them, it will be consistent with knowing them better. I don't really, but I like I said, I feel good to step in the ring with anyone in the world of boxing today, because
and another thing when you were fighting though, I think that Chris Bird fight though ultimately really put a lot of people made a lot of people very wary of you, because obviously Chris Bird was not the biggest heavyweight, wasn't the biggest puncher, but he was a guy that was very elusive and made people look bad. And obviously nobody wants to be in the ring and be made to look bad. You know what I mean? Obviously you handled them in remarkable fashion, but he was the kind of guy that, who could really make for a long night and really make you look, really make you look terrible.
Yeah, that was a hellacious knockout, though.
That was a hellacious knockout. I feel like Chris Bird might still be feeling that.
That was a great knockout.
It was, yeah. Chris Bird was the order of the victor, because of their rankings. I mean, their records. Excuse me. He was 26-0, and again, I've seen those he fought, but again, what those were could not compare. His record could not compare aftermath records. So,
Right.
and it's just one of those things. He became stronger and more solid of a heavyweight. I saw his body when he fought, is it Vladimir Klitschko or Jamie McClain or even Monte Barrett? He was solid. He was really not, well, he wasn't that, so much. He was giving direct punches, not eluding, but standing to exchange. So he was impressive. But let's not talk. Let's focus about me, because really I want to fight. I want to become a world champion so that I can join my group, my class of.
And you deserve it. And you do deserve it.
Yeah,
and I, of course, want to let people know, too, because I want people to take away something from this story, too, though, that while you were incarcerated, though, I think the silver lining in all this is, yes, you're going to come back. You're going to get another shot at boxing, but you really did use your time in there wisely, though, right? Like, let people know, like, you got a few degrees in there, right?
Yes, I had 3 associate degrees in general studies, in management and business, respectively. Then I took some paralegal classes, and was well enough with it. Yeah, and appealed to the Nevada State Supreme Court under my proper person status, and I were granted the relief of reversal and remanding, reversing and remanding, or reversal and remanding, and also in Arizona, I remained a proper person, that is self-represented person. So yeah, education was something that hindered me, or hindered my progress in the 90s. I was high school in 88. I was a high school graduate in 1988 in Nigeria. I passed all my classes. I had, chemistry, physics, mathematics, additional mathematics or calculus. Then what else? All the sciences I had, English. So really, it was fundamental education, but not the college advanced pursuit of education, which I advocate. I believe that every athlete should be at least educated, because if I had known what I had known today, there's no way I could have been the the fall guy that I became in 1999, so to say. Yeah. So but like I said, it's life, and I'm also grateful that it didn't happen in the ring, so that I can always return to the ring with my perfect record and come out and resume my life. But it's just that the institutions in the United States are well adapted to introduce education in their curriculum of programming with the inmates, and I was lucky enough to sit back and get some education, and I'm thankful to that.
Yeah. And obviously, you coming back to the ring is certainly going to make bring a certain element of excitement to the boxing world, because, and I don't know how active you are on social media, but I can certainly tell you, and Benji's can attest to this too, that there are a lot of people out there, man, who would love to see you, and a lot of people, you are still at the topic on a lot of boxing pages. We belong to a lot of boxing pages on Facebook, and you are still one of those guys where there's certainly a mystique around you, because you didn't get to develop, all the way and see it all through.
No, it's beyond the mystique, man. If I post something in there today and say Ike versus this guy, a lot of people are going to comment and say that you would have won the fight.
Yeah, I mean, we can. So certainly the fans are still with you. You are still very beloved, man. And let me just reassure you, in the boxing community, the people have not forgotten. They have not forgotten.
Yes, I know. I can feel that too. In fact, I spend so much time reviewing all the commentaries and documentaries about me on YouTube, all and on Facebook too. But the thing is that I feel so saddened. In fact, it has energized me rather and made me the person that I am today to attempt, to restore that what could have been, because really, that's nothing about boxing except, getting back to the gym and developing the initiate, the very instinct that you had before, and
Right.
executing the same in the ring. So I'm very sure, okay, of what to do if there were fights today. Okay, so that's not anything that would hinder me to going back to the drawing board and retrieving or returning my skills, whether it was the massive punch output with Tour or the aggressiveness, the push forward against Bird. The thing is that I had yearned to fight someone taller than me, someone in 6 feet, in the giants, I call them, the 6 foot 5, 6, 7. Lewis was one, but it never happened. Should I get a chance now, as they were all giants? You would have
They're
thought,
all
hey,
big
boxing.
now. I was gonna say, yeah, everybody's huge now. I mean,
Even Ngannou is 6'4". I'm 6'2". Sometimes I'm like 6'1.5". So it's like, they're all taller than me, and it will be a pleasure to have somebody whom I can look up, who has more body, and not just the height of Tua or the height of Bird, but someone ahead of me, so that I can show the world another aspect of me that they hadn't seen.
right.
Nobody seen me fight except what that was on the 14th, 6'6", Kevin Jones in Beverly Hill. That's not the fight. There was no competition there. But
Right.
God knows that if I had Lewis type of fight, he would have brought the fight out of me,
No
because
doubt.
he's much taller, and he would have gotten the best. He would have gotten the fight that was not seen about me, whether I were one of the greats or not. So with that in mind, I'm ready even now to, step in the ring with these taller guys, as they were taller than me.
Yeah,
You
so
heard
we
it right
should just,
there.
so we should just call on this show right now. IKE IBEABUCHI, Deontay Wilder, 2024, the comeback.
That would be that would be great. That would
Bring
be
it
great.
on.
But who would? Yeah, that would be great. If call that, make that immediately. I know they are talking about fighting Ngannou or Joshua. Yeah, nobody talks about me. I don't know if, but I'm
They
still
will
in
be.
detention. I will be returning to United States. But the thing is that you got to know that I am fight ready at this time.
Yeah.
2024 is way outside.
Yeah.
December. Anybody who has the inability to complete his fight obligation, I can be a swap. I can be a switch. Do you understand what I'm saying in boxing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is I
You're
get
ready to step in.
exactly. They should call me. I'm not waiting till 2024. As of now, if
Yeah.
there were any fights that weren't being that wouldn't been taken or weren't able because a party left, they should. I could switch in. I could, swap in for the guy. So
I'll tell you one
I've been
thing,
ready.
man. I'll tell you one thing. I would not want to be the first guy to see IKE IBEABUCHI after all these years. That's for damn sure, man.
I'm hungry. I'm
My name
desperately
off the
hungry.
contract. Jesus. Well,
I'm
hey, listen,
hungry.
brother, man. I am so glad we got the chance to do this, man. And I know when we put this episode up, the fans are just going to love the fact that you were on here and that they got to hear from you, man. And it was a real pleasure, man. I'm glad we finally got to connect finally and actually get to meet after corresponding through letters, man. But, we appreciate you doing this so much, man. It's been a real pleasure, Ike. It really has.
Yeah, I got to say,
Thank
too, I got to say, too, you get back to the States, and we're right in the backyard of the Boxing Hall of Fame, the International Boxing Hall of Fame.
You live right down the road. Yeah.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that, man. That's my dream come true because it would be unfinished business if I weren't at all recognized to that extent. Honestly,
even if you weren't being recognized in the Hall of Fame, just if you were up on the grounds on Hall of Fame weekend and people got to meet you, they would be so happy to meet you.
They would love it. You need to come. Yeah, it's a great time. It's a great time.
All the guys show out. Sean Porter. All the guys show out.
Yeah, the great city of Canastota. That's where International Boxing Hall of Fame is. So
we're right down the road, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's right in our backyard. Right. It's right in our backyard. Yeah, we're right here in upstate New York, man. It's about 15 minutes away. So it's close to us. We get up there on Hall of Fame weekend, and it's just great when all the ex-fighters are there, and the fans go crazy and get stuff signed and get pictures.
Yeah, even guys that aren't even inducted in the Hall of Fame go there.
Yeah.
I'm a boxer. That's for boxers, and I should be there honorably. And as honorably mentioned, I got to do whatever it takes to be amongst the inductees and not just a visitor or a voter who loves boxing to the extent. I'm not a boxing fan. I'm a boxer. I'm a pugilist. I need to
belong
be
there.
Yeah, belong there, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, I got to say, Ike, this was a real treat, man. I mean, we really appreciate you doing this, man. And it's been great talking to you, man. And I know this episode's going to do very well because people are people, like I said, they have not forgotten, man. You've got a lot of people's support out here. You really do.
Tell my fans that I am not going to miss out. I'm not going to disappoint. I'm going to prove that nothing was lost, just a little time off boxing, but I'm gonna give them a good show once I step in the ring. That's my pledge of honor. I'm gonna give them a very wonderful show that they would always not regret anything about the absence. I promise that.
There you heard it, man. Well, we appreciate you, Ike, man.
If it's a pay-per-view, I'm buying it.
Hell yeah, me too. I'm in. Yeah. But it was great getting the chance to talk to you, buddy. It really was, man. We appreciate you, man.
Thank you very much,
love,
sir.
All right. Much love, champ. Thank you so much, Ike. Talk to you soon, buddy.
Oh, you too. You too. Thank you. And
all
God
right.
bless.
You're welcome, buddy. Talk to you later.
All right. All right.
And there he goes, folks. Man alive. Boxing fans, let me just say, on behalf of Off the Couch Boxing, you're welcome.
Right.
You're welcome. You're fucking welcome. Who the hell else is bringing you an IKE IBEABUCHI interview? Who?
Yeah, nobody.
And granted, I may have the inside track, because like I mentioned in the interview,
but don't even do that, because that's kudos to you for being a real guy.
Yeah.
Going out and seeking somebody out.
Yeah. I mean,
you don't even got to do all that, because that was all your legwork.
That is Ike, the president of IBEABUCHI, man. At the time of his unfortunate circumstances, i.e. his incarceration.
Man, I wanted to say it, but he steps right back in right now, dude, and fights Bacoli.
Oof. Anybody, a Jagba?
Right. Those would be great fights, dude.
Yeah. Those would be great fights. A 16-year sentence in total. That he was. I
gotta say before we get off this, talking heavyweights, dude. A Jagba, big win last night, dude.
Big win.
Laid that dude out cold.
Yeah, very big win last night, man. Kudos to F.A. Jagba, another guy we'd love to have on here. Another guy that
Hey, he fought in Vernon, New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let me remind people, Ike, the president of IBEABUCHI, at the time that he got locked down. And did his 16-year stretch, was 20-0 with 15 knockouts, notable wins. Well, I mean, obviously he'd beaten everybody, man, but like right up until his incarceration, a TKO of our buddy Tim Ray, a TKO of Everson Davis, a unanimous decision win over David Tua, the aforementioned fight that I was talking about, the TKO of Chris Bird. I mean, he was really on a roll. And for people that don't know, go do your history. Go check out these fights on YouTube. What you will see in the IBEABUCHI Tua fight will absolutely blow your mind on the heavyweight level. 1,730 combined punches in a 12-round heavyweight fight, 975 of which, and kudos to Tua, too, for throwing 800-something himself, but 975, a CompuBox heavyweight record that still stands as far as I understand, IKE IBEABUCHI, and he was right on the cusp, man. I mean, it seemed like people were avoiding him, but the fights would have had to come at some point. The Tysons, the Holyfields, the Tommy Morrisons, the Lennox.
Right. That's why I asked him if he felt like one of those fights was imminent. You know what I mean? Regardless of if they wanted to fight or not.
I think deep down,
forced to fight.
I think deep down it sounds like, and this is consistent with other stuff that I've read and heard too, that the two that he really was ahead in his crosshairs were Holyfield and Lennox Lewis.
Right.
You know, I mean, certainly would he have turned down a Tyson fight? I'm sure not. You know what I mean? But still, I mean, those were the guys that were really in the title picture around then. But I mean, come on. What heavyweight? Dude, I got here. The heavyweight average for punches around is 50. Ike was averaging 81.
Right.
That's incredible, man, from a 6'2", 240-pound man, to have that type of work.
I mean, well, if you don't know how much more 31 more punches in a round is, it's a lot, dude. It's like almost double.
Yeah, right. Go find a heavy bag right now and try to throw 31 meaningful punches at it and tell me you're not gassed. I mean,
right. And then throw another 50 on top of that.
Yeah, and then throw another 50 in 3 minutes.
Yeah, and then take a 1 minute break and then do it again for 3 minutes.
And mind you also got to be slipping and weaving, and because the other guy is also throwing
you got to be
punches at you,
jiving and doing.
Yeah, he's also throwing a shit ton of punches in you, and it's great that we got to do him today because obviously they might not be out at the same time, but like I mentioned, at the time of this recording, it's November 5th, and a little later on tonight we are going to have an episode with, ironically, Chris Bird, who
you know what else I wanted to ask him. You know what else I wanted to ask, like that I didn't ask him was
we'll have him back.
If Akon really owned Africa, like the whole continent.
Well, I'm sure he will remain a friend of the show, obviously, and somebody that we can have back on. And of course, man, for people out there watching, we certainly will keep a running timeline and give people updates on the progress. I mean, I have a direct link to Ike. As I said, we've got some history with corresponding while he was incarcerated. So, we are talking a little more on the regular now. So, I mean, and it is an exciting time because, as you said, he just put the whole heavyweight division on blast right there.
Yeah, I'd like to let people know, dude. Follow us on Facebook. Add us as a friend, dude.
Yeah, like and subscribe.
Send us a message, comment. We're talking to you, dude. We're talking to you.
Yeah, tell us who you'd like to see on here.
Yeah, we're open in discussion for anybody that watches. We're talking to you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're answering you. We're certainly receptive. Our response time is extremely good when people comment on the episodes, when people comment on Facebook. If you got any suggestions of people that you'd like to see, and of course, you got to jump on board now because we just had IKE IBEABUCHI on, who at 50 years old is going to try to do something incredible here. So jump on board and try to be along for the ride here, man.
Also, we got so much more coming. It doesn't even you can't even. The guys we work on and go after is, endless.
Big fish, and we're hoping to have and actually at the time of this recording, 2 new episodes just went up, so there's plenty of content there. Just put up.
We had recently Monty Barrett, Aaron McKenna, fucking I can't even think of
Ivan Robinson, Montel Griffin, Hector Camacho Jr.
Yeah, lots of names.
Today I just put up Donnie. Today I just put up Donnie Lalonde and
Lalonde, the original Golden Boy, but again, not the orial because he
not the original, but more original. He predates Oscar De La Hoya. We just had on, Shut It Down himself, Kyron Davis, a guy who gave us his perspective on the big upcoming
fighter right now fighting, dude.
Yeah, and I can tell you that we've got great ones, still in the works. I mean, here in the next upcoming weeks, we will have Abel Ramos, we'll have Jesse James Leha.
Don't give away too much.
Yeah. Let me stop now, man, so we can have some surprises in the bag here, man. But that was a real treat, man, getting to go that long with IKE IBEABUCHI, who I know boxing fans are going to be super stoked.
Yeah, before we wrap up here, man, I gotta say. That was a great interview, and I'm going to quote our great American poet, Gary Busey, by saying that I can go 15 seconds with anything.
That's a great quote about toughness. Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
And it really is because, we talked to a guy that could go 15 seconds with anything.
No, a lot more than that. Yeah, I think he can go a lot more than that. And, I think in all fairness, it's our obligation and our duty, again, to reiterate the fact that, current heavyweights, IKE IBEABUCHI is coming.
Right.
Yeah. He's not to be denied.
Like Bacoli, Frank Sanchez, Jared Anderson, guys like that, Joe Joyce,
could be in a lot of trouble. Yeah.
He could fight any of those guys right now.
Yeah. He really lit up, though, man. Like when you mentioned Wilder to him, though.
That would be a great fight, dude.
He seemed excited about that one.
That would be a great fight, him and Wilder.
Yeah, so maybe I'll make sure that I put down here in the thumbnail, man, or underneath the thumbnail, that not necessarily he called Deontay Wilder out, man, but he's certainly enthusiastic about it.
He's ready for Wilder.
Yeah, he is ready for Wilder. Yeah. So obviously, utmost respect, man, to my man, the president, IKE IBEABUCHI, man.
The president, baby.
Yeah. I mean, joining us all the way from Nigeria, where he's still trying to go through the immigration process and get himself back to the States here, man.
Come on, this man has been dicked around more than anybody.
Yeah, he really has. I mean, between boxing politics and the judicial system, and the man is gonna, but the man is destined to write his own ending to his story, though, and I think it's ultimately going to be a triumphant one.
Right.
It is.
I mean, 20-0, he hops right back in at 20-0.
Yeah.
So,
right. The only thing that's really defeated him up to this point is just unfortunate circumstances in life.
Right.
But in the ring, in your career, if you're an ex-boxer, and I'm sure Tim Ray, who's a friend of ours on Facebook, who was one of Ike's last few opponents, man, all those guys know, man, that if you saw Ike in the ring, man, back then you were coming up short. I mean,
right. a lot of times you were getting laid out.
Yeah, or Chris Bird almost decapitated.
I mean, you heard him say, dude, he was upset that Ngannou Fury didn't end in a knockout.
Right, but at least he did have the right score out there. Boxing fans, you heard it here first, man, from IKE IBEABUCHI's mouth, man, and we've talked even offline in text, man. Fury won that fight. Everybody,
and Ngannou's a fellow from Nigeria.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's not like he's not biased,
Right.
I would obviously root for my guy from Waterville.
Right. Sure. But I hope boxing fans, certainly will follow Ike along on this journey. And of course, we will certainly do our best, to provide updates, like whether it's on here or via Facebook. Obviously, best case scenario is every couple of weeks, maybe, or having Ike back on to give us updates on like where he is, what he needs. Is he looking for promoters? Is he looking for trainers? You heard him say he wants to assemble a team. Like a rest in peace to the late great.
You heard him say that he doesn't even have a team. He's just working in Nigeria to work out and stay active.
Well, guess what? He's got off the couch boxing.
Yep.
I mean, we're Team IBEABUCHI.
We're working. Let's talk to John Iceman Scully.
Yeah.
See where he can elevate.
Yeah. That's right, man. Like we've made connections. That's right.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Ike. We got this whole trainer thing figured out for you. No worries, Ike. No worries. Hey, you know what, man? I'm proud of that, man.
Matters into our own hands.
We took matters into our own hands, and I just want to put some shine on the fact that I didn't want to gloss over it in the interview that the man got fucking 3 different associate degrees when he was being held down in prison, man. And I mean, it's a testimony to, when this man puts his nose to the grindstone, man, shit gets done.
Listen, man, we've been talking and rambling, and I already said that I can go 15 seconds with anything.
Yeah, that's
like
right.
Our great American poet Gary Busey had once said.
So I guess I will end this thing by letting you all know to make sure you like and subscribe. As Benji said, to follow us
on fucking Facebook.
Yeah. Go to our Facebook.
Talk to us.
Yeah.
Say what's up.
Yeah.
We're people. We're cool.
Yeah. Last time I checked, we're not bots.
All the boxing fights, even the ones you might not watch.
Yeah.
We watch them.
I suffered through an 11-fight card last night just to watch Efe Ajagba.
Right. We watched nobody's fight each other.
And a big shout out also, man, at the time of this recording to a guy who's also on my radar, man, Raymond Murataya. Love that guy.
Murataya.
Love that guy.
We're coming for you, Murataya.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Another guy that we'd love to have.
What a performance last night. The boy was slick. He was active. He was powerful.
Yep.
He was everything.
Yep. Yeah. To quote the great Angel Man Freddie, man, his opponent last night got out-slicked, outboxed, outgunned.
And F.A. Ajagba finished off the night with a power bang.
He sure did, man. He sure did, man. Rest in peace, Joe Goodall. I mean, yeah, he got
Yeah.
Well, you know what? They're even now, though, man, because, you know, Joe Goodall did beat him in the Commonwealth Games, I believe, man. So,
It doesn't count.
right. right. The pro level is a whole different ballgame, man.
Right.
But again, a big salute to our man, IKE IBEABUCHI, dear friend of the show, man. Love that guy. Support his comeback, man. The man is going to try to do something that nobody else has ever done, something very special. We watched George Foreman come back at the age of 45.
Well,
and beat Michael Moore.
Hopkins fought at 50.
Huh?
Hopkins fought at 50.
Oh, yeah. A lot of guys have fought at 50. It's very difficult to come in where the big boys play into the heavyweight division, man. But as I said, and I will stand by this, man, and this is not to be disparaging to the current heavyweight, their current ranked heavyweights, man, but Ike was fighting, I believe, as a 50-year-old man in a tougher time, man. I mean, I believe that Ike could really come in, and I don't want to start making grandiose statements like Ike is going to be undisputed champ tomorrow. Ike can clean out all the current champions. But I'm saying, though, Ike will step in right now, and he will find success. I don't know what that success will look like, but Ike will be successful against today's current heavyweights. I'll say that. To what degree, I'm not going to elaborate. I'm not going to make claims, oh, he'll come in and knock this guy out or knock that guy out or put this guy on his ass or, you know, I mean, I don't know to what degree, but he's obviously a very determined man who has really, as he said it, just kind of taken a 16-year vacation. He wasn't hurt. He wasn't coming back from injuries. You know, he wasn't this, he wasn't that. He hasn't been racking up physical mileage on his body, man. I mean, you know, he's probably, you know, I don't think he's just tooting his own horn for the sake of talking. I believe that if he says he's really in shape and could step in for a fight, that he knows who he is.
I love all this stuff. I love all this stuff you're talking about, but Donald Trump is sitting off to the side of the room right now, and he's saying, "Come on, man, wrap it up."
Wait a minute. Donald Trump, though, man, who hopefully next Tuesday is about to become our president again, man. But we just talked to the real president. Everybody knows.
He said, wrap it up.
Wrap it up. Yeah. Right. From one president talking about this episode with the president, man. Big salute to IKE IBEABUCHI, and I will end this thing by saying, look, if you would like to be a champion, then you need to roll with the champs.